Good evening, everyone. It is your girl, Kelly A. Bowens. No, I am not Angela Lewis. I know you're used to seeing Miss Angela Lewis, but she is taking a break today. So I am filling in the hot seat for Miss Angela Lewis. My name is Kelly A. Bowens. I am the founder of the SheEO District and a partner of the iShine brand. So thank you all so much for tuning in on tonight. So wherever you're tuning in from, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to go ahead and share this broadcast. We have some exciting some exciting conversations on today. We have the beautiful Miss Talesha Austin. She is the 2021 of the 2021 honorees of the SheEO Honors Gala for our SheEO conference coming up on next Saturday. So we're going to be chatting with her. We're going to introduce her to the SheEO platform as well as the iShine platform. So go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in, go ahead and share this broadcast with someone you know. Look, someone who's a diva. Pick out your favorite diva and go ahead and look. She's going to appreciate you for sharing this with her, and she'll thank you later, right? So we have the diva herself, Miss Talesha Austin. So I'm going to take about 10 seconds and I'm going to go ahead, make sure that we are live in the SheEO district. And I'm going to share this broadcast to my personal page as well as to a couple of groups that I am affiliated with. I hope you all have had a fantastic Thursday. We are one day away from the weekend and about 8 days away from the SheEO conference. We are super excited about that. We have some exciting events coming up on Friday, on the 10th, December the 10th. We have our SheEO Cares fundraising event at the Reed House in Smyrna, Georgia. Ladies, this is a free event. So get all dolled up in your Harlem Nights gear, your Roaring 20s gear, and come meet us out for some good food, some good music, some cocktails. This is a free event and open to the public. However, you must register via our website, the SheEOconference.com. But this is a free event. And on Saturday morning, we actually have a vendor expo at 10 a.m. That leads into our 5P principles to live your life on purpose masterclass, which is facilitated by the SheEO leadership. And so that event ends and we're going to go back and we're going to get all dolled up again for our SheEO Honors Gala. So this is a formal event. Both our Friday night and Saturday night events are co-ed. So the whole family is welcome, right? So go ahead and get your husband's tuxedo or whatever, dust it on off, and y'all come on out and join us for this amazing event. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Miss Talesha. I'm going to read her bio. And when I read her bio, I will bring her back up. So get my graphics together here. Miss Talesha Austin. She is the wife of 20 years, a mother, a business owner, and God-fearing. She also loves to cook her family delicious meals, decorate her home, shop at thrift stores. She has a love for helping people, motivating, and helping women build a confidence. These are some of the reasons she started her own vintage store and event business. It makes her heart happy when a customer or client are happy with their product or service. Her motto in life is to always treat people the way you would like to be treated and God first in everything. So I'm going to bring up Miss Talesha Austin. Thank you so much for joining us. Beautiful.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, we have our bios and everybody knows, how I flow. I love to hear, from the mouth of our guests, like who is Talesha Austin at her core? Aside, stripped down from all the titles, who is Miss Talesha Austin at her core?
Well, Talesha Austin is laid back. Love to laugh. Just like to have fun. I'm family oriented. I love people. I love meeting new people. I'm a people's person. And I just love life. I try to live life. Try not to think about negative things. I always find a positive in things. So That is me. That's my personality. Everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, Talesha's always so happy and full of joy." It's just that's just how I am. So,
Absolutely.
yep, yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Look, like my granny used to say, complain ain't gonna change nothing, right?
that's right. Happiness.
Yes.
Um, and that's about it. I like I said, I was full of life. I love to just do things, but my family is everything for me.
Yes.
And like I said, I just like to stay busy. I love to be creative and get my mind going, and just to kind of just have fun. And I love hanging out with friends. Even though COVID came around, we haven't seen each other in a while. And I like meeting new women, networking with women, and getting to know. Good evening. Getting to know other people and networking and mingling. So that's about it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, I personally started following Miss Talesha at the
Oh,
beginning of last year,
uh,
when we're all in the house and with
yep.
COVID. And
Yep.
so we've spent more time than we probably needed to on
Yep.
social media. And so
Yep.
I don't know how I connected, but it was the energy that I
Oh,
saw coming through the post. I love the way she
thank you.
interacts with her family online. And we were just discussing, in the back that we need to see more of that,
Yep.
especially, with the African American family. We need to see more cohesiveness, more love. She interacts with her children, very involved in their life, even with the dog. Look, we even
Yep. I
we
know.
were fans of the dog around here, but I just love the love that who she says she's at her core. That means she displays that on social media, and so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what really had me like really intrigued about, who is this Miss Talesha Austin? So we started communicating and, on each other's posts or whatnot. So I cannot wait to meet her in person. I feel like I know her already.
Oh, me too. I
I
can't
can't
wait.
wait to meet you in person on Saturday, right?
Me
So
too.
God has just this strategic way,
Yep.
even through COVID, had a strategic way of connecting individuals, right? So
Yep. That's right.
the enemy will get no glory from 2020. We're going to pull
That's
out all the good things
that's
and
right.
leave all the negative things in 2020. But this, for me, like the established relationships, is one of the good things for me that came out of 2020,
2020. Yeah.
right?
Same.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, first, let's talk about your creativity, which is on a level 16 if 10 is the max. Like,
Thank you,
where
girl.
did all this come from? Have you always been this creative?
Well, I and thank you so much for the compliments. I really appreciate you. So sweet, girl. Well, actually, I think I've always had it in me. I just kind of doubted myself. And I
Mm.
know that my mom and my mom was a hairstylist and my dad was a barber. He was very, very good at, because he passed away, he was very good at drawing and just kind of putting things together. So I said, well, maybe those two gifts came together some kind of way and kind of gave me creativity, because my mom actually used to decorate her house very elegantly, just over the top diva. And so I get it from her. So, but I never really kind of just came out of the like how I am now until
Mhm.
actually COVID. Well, I was doing it a little bit before COVID, but COVID really opened it. I said, you know what? Let me get out in the yard. Let me go out and do change my patios around. I don't know if you saw the patio. I
I
was
did. I
patio.
did. Yes.
Let me just kind of just use my imagination and find ways inexpensively to be able to revamp things to make them look different and newer. My mom was a thrifter, so that's why I thrift. But yeah, I think I just I just say, you know what, let me find something that I'm good at and that I love, because of course, like you said, I still work a 95. I'm not 95, but I went part-time because now I work for myself and I need those benefits. But yeah, but
Exactly.
yeah, and I love doing what I'm doing because it just it's just so relaxing for me. I don't know, it's therapeutic mainly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk about thrifting. There's an
Yes.
art to thrifting. You can't just show up at thrift stores and think it's too much, right? So
Yes.
what's some of the tips to thrifting? What's the secret to thrifting?
So thrifting, I've always thrifted. Even when I met my husband, he was looking like, I was like, well, look, I thrift. So thrifting is about, and I think it's about having an eye.
Mm.
People always told me that, hey, you have an eye. I found things and I will bring them home and give them to family members and friends. And they would say, this is a nice piece. You should start a store because you're always finding things that are like, something like this. This is a thrifted piece as well. And I was like, no,
Wow.
it's okay. So, and it's just so fun for me. I go in, and here in Atlanta, some of the best thrifting in Atlanta. which makes it even better. Because I used to live in Virginia with we moved here 14 years ago. So in Virginia, thrifting was okay, but here is a whole other level. So it is just about finding pieces that are unique, home pieces that are very inexpensive that you can kind of reupholster, you can change around, things like that. And it's just been, everything is so inexpensive. Almost my whole house is thrifted, and people come like, even the Christmas tree. I mean, I'm always getting, and I clean and sanitize everything. But some things like housewares and like different types of vases and like the chandelier, those things there are like, and a lot of this stuff is valuable. So I'm like, hey, but it's so fun. That is very therapy. I can do that every day, all day. And I got a lot of, you got to have a lot of patience to do it too.
Yeah. So I've tried to thrift before, but I've self-diagnosed myself with ADHD. I go in and I'm like,
I know.
And it's like, where do I start? You know?
Yes, it's overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming.
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna have to take like some time. I can't just go in and try to think I'm gonna pick out something and leave back out. You got to give yourself time. Yeah.
Yep. You got to give yourself.
Definitely have to give yourself time. So that was one of the things I was gonna put together, like a little girls' day, and get like a shuttle bus, bus to take us around, like a Sprinter or something, to take us around thrifting. So I think that would be fun. Nice. Like literally set aside time to thrift.
Let me know about that. That'll be fun, because I know when I tell you I thrift almost every thrift store in North Georgia. I've been to almost every last one of them.
Wow. Yeah. So we'll definitely have to collab on that one. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah.
So Talesha, you're heavily involved. I believe your husband has his own business, correct? And you know, you're very involved with your son. Look, I know all your whole life. Like
okay.
You're very involved with your children's activities. How do you talk to the ladies, the busy ladies who are struggling to find that balance?
So, okay. So basically, because y'all know I still work part-time, and I have a vintage store, and now my balloon business, which is turning into like, seasonal trees and things like that. So I always schedule what I do is I say, okay, when you work for yourself, you can schedule your time when you want to work and when you don't want to work. So there's something, I have garlands and do things on weekends, and there are weekends where clients will contact me and say, hey, do you have availability on this day? So what I do is I block time out just to be able to spend time with my husband, because even though we've been together 20 years, next year will be 20 years, I still make time for him, because it's very important to date each other and still go out on those dates and dress up and, just have fun and get away from work, business, kids. And with my kids, I always, and normally, what I do is I'll just kind of balance it around. I'm like, what time y'all have a game? We'll have a calendar, or we do have a calendar in our downstairs, and I'll say, okay, they have a game at this time. Okay, ain't no garlands going on that day. So when a client contacts me, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not available, because I believe that it's very important to put your family first. I didn't want to be that mom where I'm like working all the time and my kids never see me. So I'll always make ways to say, no matter how tired I am, I make sure that I say, hey, even if it's just we go to the park, or even just go get ice cream, and ask about their day and things like that, and just kind of make time for my kids and my husband, to show them like, hey, mama ain't just working. I'm making time for y'all too. I'm gonna be at every game and every PTA meet, all that stuff. So and it's just about balance and making that sacrifice. You just have to make that sacrifice, because one day you won't have to work as hard. I always say I work my businesses now. One day I'll have somebody, I'll still be working, but I'll have someone be able to do the things that need to be done on the back end, and I can be able to say, okay, I don't have to do nothing. But that won't be the case, because I always want to be busy. But it's that's how I usually do. I just kind of make sacrifice. I was like, Lord, I'm tired, but let's go to the movies. Even though my eyes about to close, we're going to go to the movies. Yep. Yeah, because they'll remember that.
Exactly. And you said something significant there. I'm an advocate of involving the family, especially as an entrepreneur, involving your family so that they understand, they reap the benefits of mom working, or may not have time for this, but they're reaping the benefits You being able to, go put up a garland on
Yep.
Saturday morning, but now we're going to the movies. That stuff takes money, right?
Yep. It does
And
take money.
kids, we have to explain that to our children.
Yep.
Mommy may be on a Zoom or interview or whatnot, but
Yep.
you're going to reap the benefits, in the weekend or with something that you asked for. I had the money to purchase it, right? So we have to make sure that we're explaining to our children, especially if we're not going out, to a 9-to-5 job and coming back. They understand and process that, right? But with you being at home, they may think, wow, she's just not making time for me. No, this is the time I set aside to work, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you said that was very significant. And so it sounds like the key is the scheduling of your time properly and executing said schedule.
Exactly. And planning things out. Like we went to Jamaica in September, and I said the reason why y'all go on these nice luxury vacations is because mommy and daddy always work. Y'all, that's like exactly what you just said. They were like, "Oh, okay. Well, you want me to help you do more, but
right. Exactly.
Yep.
Absolutely. I was just talking with one of my friends yesterday, and we were talking about, how we are starting to involve our children, even on the business side, right? Because we're building legacy that we want to pass down. So they need to know now, be familiar with what we do so that when that time comes, they can move on in and we can go on about our business, right?
Exactly.
And so she was saying that her son, before was a little reluctant when she asked him to help her with the business, but she took him out to an event and he made all these like $300 in tips, and now he's asking like, when we going back out again?
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So they kind of understand the dollar. My son recently, he bought his first car, but he went out and worked because he see that me and his dad, whatever we want, nothing is given to you. Have to go out and work for it. Nobody, we didn't come from a family of, money or inheritance and things like that. So everything that we have to work hard for. And they see us like mom and daddy working hard for what we have, but they make time for us. So it's a sacrifice, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. And that's a good point that you bring up. I won't say we're not rich yet, but we live a better life than what our parents, how we grew up, right? And so we have to be mindful. I know I do, to not overcompensate my son to where he's not even appreciative of what he gets. And he doesn't, it's not something that's expected, right? So I've talked to my husband about, we have to find that balance. We tend to maybe overcompensate just a little, just make sure that they're not growing up the way we grew up, because we know how that felt, right? But then on the flip side, we want to make sure that they are appreciative and grateful for the sacrifices that we make for them on a day-to-day basis.
Yep, that's exactly the same exact way I feel. I'm like, you got to understand that, you still want to work for something. I know mommy and daddy will give you gas and all that stuff, but you got to understand that you want something you have to work for. And like you said, grateful.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, grateful.
So let's talk about Divaxpress, your online clothing boutique.
Yeah, so Divaxpress, I started Divaxpress in 2014, and it happened. I always tell people this crazy story, and they like, "What, are you serious?" So this is how I know this was all God was like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. In 2014, I used to sell on eBay heavily. So before I started selling clothes on Divaxpress, my vintage store, I was selling on eBay. So what happened was I decided to say, hey, I had a shirt. I took it off eBay and said I wanted to sell it to someone take it somewhere outside of eBay. And eBay contacted me and said, hey, the person that you sold it to, you could have got the money off of. So they closed my account indefinitely. I could still shop, but I could never sell. I was already kind of dreading and kind of a little frustrated with eBay because there's a lot of rules. Anyway, long story short, I remember being so devastated because I had just started at my part-time now, which is not full. It was full-time at the time. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I hadn't started yet.
Okay.
And I said, Lord, I really want to work for myself. I know that I need to, because we were basically, our income at the time, my husband and our household was based on a 2 income household. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I prayed about it and I said, you know what? Let me just start. Everybody keep telling me, remember I said about, you should sell these pieces you find. Mm-hmm. Selling on eBay. I was also still thrifting. And I was like, let me just try this thing that everybody keeps saying I should do. And girl, I started getting clothes. I went and got me a little cheap mannequin and I just started taking pictures and putting them online, put them on Instagram. I created me an Instagram page. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of kept going. I didn't give up. I didn't say, oh, it's slow, I ain't make no money. Because I know in the beginning of business, you have to be okay with being at the bottom and not
Yes.
having no clients, not having no
Yeah.
customers.
Yes.
It's very important not to waste a lot of money in the business. So I took things that I didn't wear anymore and started off with those pieces. And when those sold, I took the profit proceeds from it after shipping and then start buying inventory, and it just grew and grew and grew. And Lord knows, I mean, I just kept, and of course I always treat my customers like I like to be treated. Good customer service is number one in what I do. And I just kind of kept going and praying about it and always put God first. I always make sure that I paid my 10%.
Okay. Listen.
Yeah. Every
that part.
time I did
that part. Okay. Yes. Yes. And you know what? And I won't say, I'm not saying this like because if you have a 9 to 5, pay your tithe, but especially as an entrepreneur, it is more vital to me now as an entrepreneur to make sure I pay my tithe than it was having a 9 to 5.
Yes, it's very critical.
Yeah,
because it's very critical because it's basically guarantees. I'm like, God, I'm not expecting it. It don't have to be money as long as you send me favor my way.
Now I'll take that all day over money.
Favor is always better than
money.
You can always get things. God will look out for you in ways that money can never do.
Yes.
So I always make sure I said, let me pay my tithes on every dollar. I always tell people, how is it that your business is growing so well? And I said, oh, I pay my tithes. They would laugh. And I'm like, okay. But it has grossed me over 6 figures, and it's all of things that I go to the thrift store and find. Now, I was to the point where I got to a point during COVID where I said I didn't made enough money. Me and my husband were able to buy buy a house that we wanted. And I said, let me just kind of slow it down. I said, I think I'm gonna stop Divaxpress because it's a lot of work.
And I can imagine,
girl. I had my customers reach out to me and say, please don't stop. I had a customer tell me yesterday, the other day, that I've been shopping with you since I was 14. I'm now 25. I said, oh my God, these people really look forward to the pieces that I sell. So I feel like God gave me this gift to find pieces to be able to share it with the world or whoever, of course, my customers. And I said, let me just continue it, but don't put as much time into it. And I still make the same proceeds I was making when I was doing all the work. So it just that ties paying. And the same thing with the balloons, the event business. Ties first, and clients still, hey, I like the book. And I'm like, and it's just, it works. I tell people all the time, they laugh when I say it. I'm like, okay.
That's a real thing. That is a whole real thing.
Yep.
For real. Yes.
It's a real thing. So yep.
So and I know that you are a fellow believer. How important does your spirituality and your relationship with God play in your home life, your business, the whole gambit? How does spirituality play a part in your relationship?
It's a big. Now, in the beginning of me and my husband's relationship, we were young. Of course, I always loved God and went to church. But when we moved here, and when we had no other, like I said, when I got kicked off eBay, so a couple things went left, right. We had no other choice. I said, you know what? Let's find a church, and we have to figure out. Maybe we need to start putting God first. As people always told us, we always knew that, hey, praying and putting God first in your relationship is always, it's important. So we started doing that, praying together, start tithing together. And it was a slow process because, you don't just come in, just automatically just pay, But anyway, we always make sure we pray. We always make sure we stay positive. There in our relationship, there are certain words that we do not use in our house. Like, for example, we always say, oh, we can't say the D word. And that's the, DIVORSE.
Yep. Same here.
The devil is a lot. We don't let no one come between us. We always just trying to God will work it out, and we teaching our children that as well. Like God first. You have to, no matter what it looks like, you can always rely on God. He may not be on time. He may not be he's always on time. Is what I always say.
Absolutely.
So some things don't work out as as planned, but that just means that it wasn't meant to be. So that's
absolutely
how look. We just say, well. We didn't get that car. Oh, that was for us. That's somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a positive way to look at things versus being just crushed and, oh my God, I didn't get it. God has something better for me. That what and we want in this season what God has for us. not what we
Exactly.
want, right?
Exactly.
I've done enough of that, right? Getting
Yep.
what I want and it not work out, right?
Yep.
I want
Exactly.
everything that God has for me, not in just
Exactly.
in this season, but for the rest of my life.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely. So I'm gonna put your uh website up.
Okay,
You all go take a look at her. I was browsing around today,
girl.
and I saw a couple pieces that I'm going to go back and take advantage of. But go take a look around at her website. I didn't even so all of your pieces are thrifted.
All of them are thrifted. Thrifted, and it's funny because when I close, I have to close my store at 9:45 on Friday because I release new pieces on Friday, not this Friday. And girl, at 10 o'clock on the dot, they just snatching left and right because it's one of each item. So sometimes a customer
Right?
they
Yeah.
want, and they'd be like, "Oh, somebody took this on my card," and this, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know." But it's funny. But I'm very grateful for Divaxpress. I love what I do. And it's a blessing to be able to do something that you love. Even though I do work 9 to 5, I still do like what I do my part time. But I love doing this, and it pay. They say your gifts will always pay you.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in that because I swear I say these are my gifts because they're paying me to do what I love. I can do these things for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely.
So
So really quick before we head out, we'll put
thank you.
her website in the chat, for those who are watching the replay. But just really quickly, again, Miss Talesha has accepted our honoree award for excellence in social. And I was explaining to her in the back, she makes it look easy, right? And we know it's not easy, but she makes it look easy, right? So ladies, we can still be beautiful. We can still be sexy. We can still come home and cook meals for our families. We heard it from Miss Talesha herself. It's all about putting God first, making your schedule, and making time for your families, and sticking to the schedule, right? So it's not a secret, right? It's just a formula that we have to follow and execute to make sure that we're creating that balance so that we're successful in our home, in our business, and on our jobs, right? So anything you want to add, Miss Talesha, before we hop off of here? I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us tonight.
No, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be a part of this. I was like, man, this is just, I just feel so blessed to be a part of such an amazing conference. I really, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And ladies, anything you want, you can have. You just have to put your mind to it, pray about it. If you don't want to pray about it, just say, God, do it. And just keep the faith. Keep faith.
Keep the faith.
Size of a mustard seed, because sometimes it don't look good, but that don't mean nothing. If it's not happening, it wasn't meant for you.
Absolutely. And stay positive. Stay positive. Absolutely.
Stay positive.
So ladies, we got a few nuggets on tonight that we can take it and kind of let that marinate in your spirit, right? And so next year you may be in the seat for the excellence in social. This is why Miss Talesha is one of our honorees for this year. Thank you so much, Miss Talesha. I know that, we met on social media, but this is how God can use social media for his glory, right?
That's right.
So again, we're taking all the bad and leaving it in 2020, but we're taking all the good that came out of 2020 into 2021, and we're going to cultivate these relationships. So again, thank you so much, Miss Talesha. Thank you all for tuning in with us on tonight. We're going to crank this thing back up on Monday at 8 p.m. We're going to be next week is conference week in the SheEO district. So you're going to meet all of our honorees all throughout. We're going to even do special midday lives honoring and allowing you all to meet our honorees. So thank you all. You have a great night. You all have a fantastic weekend. Thank you again, Miss Talesha.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye, guys. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.